She said we all have cancer every day, all of us. Yep.
How do we do that, and how do we, become aware and guard ourselves, you know, to stay safe, to be on the safe side of
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Kumu podcast. Thank you so much for joining us again today. It is going to be another very powerful episode, trust me. With that being said, today I have the privilege of hosting one of the great minds, Zachariah Frank. He is part of an organization called Beat Cancer, which is a 46-year-old non-profit organization that educates people on holistic ways to prevent and beat cancer. They have a lot of different, educational programs for patients, caregivers, medical professionals, or just anyone, which is amazing. And they have trained hundreds of holistic cancer coaches all around the world. Zachariah is also known as the Health King, and he's very passionate about sharing information on how to heal naturally and holistically. Very important, you know. So I don't want to give so much away. I'm gonna let him in so that he can tell you guys about who he is and what he does. Zachariah, thanks for coming in, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. It's truly an honor to be here, and it's truly an honor to be able to share information with audiences all over the world and get the information out there that people can use to improve their health, improve their fulfillment in life. Because, I really believe out there too many people are suffering from ailments and illnesses that they don't have to be suffering from. And the more we comprehend the way the body works and the way health works, the more we can improve ourselves. And through improving ourselves at an individual level, the world becomes a better place. So it's truly an honor to be here and be speaking about the things that we are speaking of. So thank you very much for having me.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. I also appreciate you for being here, for making up time to be here and just to share with our audience what you have and your knowledge, as it is your passion to do that. Appreciate your time and appreciate what you do, you know. So without taking much time, just to give you guys a little bit of summary of what we're going to talk about, we're going to dive into holistic healing ways and how to heal cancer naturally, you know. And it is such a very it's gonna be a very powerful episode. I'm going to learn a lot, and you guys gonna learn a lot too. And just set your mind ready, as I always emphasize. Make note. It's gonna help you to do some research, because um, research is very important. You take in what we say, that's cool, but you have to reaffirm that the only way you do that is by doing research and finding out different way, meeting different people, talking to different people, reading different books, reading different articles and things like that. It's going to help you to to make everything come together. We're going to have some very good offer at the end, so stick around. And Zachariah is going to share what he has. He's got an offer for everybody who's interested in that. So don't cut this episode short, or stay right through the end. Yeah. And
Yeah. And we'll
yeah,
do what we can to pack it with value so that you want to stick around, of course, the whole time.
yeah,
We're gonna be talking
definitely.
about some good stuff. And what you just mentioned is so important, right? Because everybody's health is their own responsibility. It's everyone's responsibility on a personal level to make sure that the information that they're analyzing or receiving or considering is good for them and works for them. And so I always do like to disclaim at the very beginning that I'm not a doctor and I'm not your doctor and I'm not giving you, anyone in the audience, medical advice. I'm here to just share some interesting information, some interesting education. Hopefully, it's entertaining as well. So, everything I say is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. To disclaim that right off the rip. Um,
Yeah.
and so, what's the topic of today? The topic of today is cancer. And it's a very vague topic itself because inherently cancer is related to all things health and wellness. And I could get more into that later. But we have to start at the foundation because most people's foundational comprehension of cancer is fundamentally flawed. People have this concept that cancer is some boogeyman disease that either comes down from the sky and just gets you randomly, or is some destiny that people are destined to because, oh, my family gets cancer, so I'm going to get cancer. End of story. And this is so disruptive to someone's kind of life and so harmful of a schema to behave within because it completely takes people out of the driver's seat of their own life and out of their own health. If this is the construct that you operate within, then there's really no reason to make conscious choices and conscious thoughts about what you're doing because you think that end result is either guaranteed or it's random. And it's so harmful because this leaves people just kind of wandering around life aimlessly and stepping on mines all throughout the minefield. And what do I mean by that? Well, this modern day is full of things that contribute to cancer. And of course, everyone knows that. Everyone kind of writes that off even because there's that kind of doomer attitude of, oh, well, everything's going to give you cancer, so why bother? Why try? And that's a whole mindset to address in it of itself. But once we comprehend the foundational root of cancer and the nature of it as a thing that happens, then we can step appropriately and navigate this modern day minefield and get to the other side, having never stepped on that mine and acquiring cancer. And that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. It's not a boogeyman. It's not a random thing. It's not just a genetic thing. It's a result of lifestyle choices and choices accumulating over time. We're talking about physical poison through food, through water, through clothing, through body products, through the air. But we're also talking about emotional poison because the energetic side of our existences is inherently linked to the physical side of our existence in our body. Our body has energetic centers and different organs and whatever language you want to use that are correlated and coincide and are part of the system of our emotions as well and our spirituality as well. And that's why it's so essential to consider not just what you're eating, but what might be eating you. What's going on behind the scenes of your emotional self, whether it is emotional behavioral habits, whether it's trauma over time or significant singular traumatic events, all of these things, they carry an energetic charge. They carry an emotional, energetic charge. And we know energy can't be destroyed. It can only be converted into other things. And so when we experience energetic charges in a negative way emotionally, if we don't have healthy ways of getting that energy out or transmuting it or dealing with it or healing it, then it tucks away. And our body does that to protect us because it can't have that stress state for forever. So it wants to feel better. And hopefully it's a positive pathway of feeling better, of true healing. But sometimes if for some reason you're not able to do that for your body will do it for you by tucking it away and tucking that energy away. And it'll do that as much as it can, but it can only take so much. And that stored energy being tucked away, it really wreaks havoc on the physical function of whatever that area of your body is. And this is why we see cancer in people that do everything right, quote unquote.
Yeah.
People that eat healthy, people that go to the gym. They might have other things going on the emotional side that are the contributory factors or the major contributory factors, because it could, of course, always be a myriad of things. There's never not necessarily one root cause of one individual's cancer. But unless we are addressing both sides of the equation, we are missing out on a full comprehension of cancer as a whole. It's not a random thing. It has a cause. And if it has a cause, it can have a reversal. if we remove the cause. And that's why it's important to take a holistic approach to cancer, because unfortunately, it would be wonderful if we could just accrue cancerous cells, get it hacked out of us via a surgery or radiated out of us or chemically burned out of us via chemo or whatever, and it never come back. But if you haven't addressed what actually brought it there in the first place, well, that's why recurrence is so high within the conventional avenues. So I'll
Yeah.
stop there for now. I could keep going forever.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite a lot. That was quite a lot. And I really, I love that part because I also um emphasize that on you know, to many people that you are, your life is not a mistake. You are not, you're not living by mistake. You're not living by chances. We don't take chances, And there's one of the powerful quote, I forgot the author, but he said, no, it's not an author. It's actually in a book called The Hermetic Principle, the Seven Hermetic Principle. It says, chance is but a law uh, which is not recognized. So that means
Hmm.
we don't
Yeah.
take chances. It's just you just didn't know. You were not conscious of that particular, process that you were involved in. So if everybody were like, let's say, if everybody were conscious about life, conscious about what we eat, conscious about how we treat our environment, we will have a better world and people will be living a very super, healthy, strong, and, beautiful life. What is missing in our society, what I think, is we just reject the conscious side of everything. We don't want to take responsibility of things. We want to do things because, oh, I heard this and they taught me that, and this is how it should be done. We throw away the conscious part of it. And funny enough, we blame the conscious living on a movement. Oh, it's a new age kind of movement, it's some magic and things like that. It don't work and things like that. Yeah, man, I get that part. I hope the audience understand that part as well in that manner, because it's very important to be conscious of your steps. Each step you take in life has to be conscious. You have to know what you're doing, you have to know why you're doing it, and you have to know the cause of that, because eventually everything has effect, cause and effect. Everything happens by intention. So if you're not aware of that, and that's also one of the problem, because if you're not intentional about your life, other people can use you without you knowing.
What's missing is God, man. What's missing is God, because that's really the fundamental root of it all. We have people running around having been convinced that we're all here just randomly, and we're all here because
Yeah,
out of nothing came everything, from some random explosion, and that is so detrimental to a human's life because it separates us from Creator. And when I'm saying God, I'm not saying that within the realm of any religion or any, culture or whatever. But when we think that we have one, no reason that we're here, and two, no duty to do right by whatever or whoever put us here, then that sets the stage for so much chaos, because at that point, what does it matter? When you have that, YOLO mentality, oh, you only live once, you're all going to be in the dirt at the end anyway. It doesn't matter. Why not go rob that grandma? Why not have that cake? Why not take the candy? Why not be obese? It doesn't matter. And it just sets the stage for all the hedonism that we see of modern society, and all the gluttony and all the unfortunate unhealthy behaviors that we see. Because if you don't think that there is a higher power to answer to,
yeah,
then you don't really have that connection or that feeling of things matter, and that I matter, that the self matters, because it's no separation. To comprehend God, whatever, concept of God someone has, you could
yeah,
call it the universe even. I don't care. I don't care what language you use. You talk about new age spirituality, and there's, of course, a lot of silliness in there, but if you want to say the universe works this way and the universe is looking out for me, and so I'm going to give back to the universe, and then you yourself live as a healthy person, just like someone that says God, well, then you're cool with me. That's fine with
yeah,
me. But the problem is when we are living three-dimensionally and we only think that what is, what meets the eye is all that there is, then it's leaving out such an essential part of the human experience that kind of is the most essential part for the true navigation of this lifetime because nothing else matters. No, I mean, the way I see it is the physical side of things is like the experience, but the beyond that is the meaning, is the real life that you live, and then the physical life is kind of the tool to experience the spiritual side of things. And so we're kind of getting far out now, but it is relevant because when we disconnect ourselves from something from the most essential part of ourselves, the realest and most inner part of ourselves, which is that spiritual side, that godly side, that universal side, the metaphysical, whatever you want to call it, then it's like trying to drive a car that has no wheels on it. It's like you're just missing. You're just missing, man. And I understand, of course,
Yeah,
that the world has been set up in a way to separate people from,
yeah,
comprehending things beyond the physical. And so I understand people have, different places that they're at in their journey with it. But it's it's super essential.
bringing it together with the topic is that the disease and cancer and everything else is it's starting from us first. What we're giving out there, what energy we're putting out there, to nature, and what are we doing to, you know, to uh, to guard ourselves and get ourselves, get ourselves to live in a very in a proper way in accordance to nature, because being sick and being everything else is just you being not balanced with nature. We're not balancing with nature. So you have to we really have to get to that point of really being super conscious about our action and what we do and what we put into our body, our mind, and everything else. So yeah, it's very important, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's a perfect way to tie it back. And that's why we're talking about these things because in the realm of holistic health, there's no spot treating. It's holistic. You have to consider your whole existence, and your whole existence is not just your body, it's your mind, it's your emotions, it's your spirit. And so that's why we have to have these discussions at a meta level about all these different elements
Yeah.
to, if we really want to have the optimal experience of healing or preventing our cancer. That's why it's related. Are there physical things we can and will talk about? Yes. Are there the more three-dimensional, emotional, and mental things that we'll talk about? Absolutely. But if you're missing that other spiritual side of things, you're shooting yourself in the foot in your healing or prevention journey.
So, yeah, Zakaria, can you can you share a little bit of your organization, what you guys do, and how you guys came about? You know, uh, you guys got into uh healing holistically, and especially to get so serious about cancer because we don't have that a lot going on, in that side of disease. So you guys are doing a very an amazing work, and it's worth to know, and yeah, I think you can share a little bit of your organization if you don't mind.
No, I certainly don't mind, my friend. It's absolutely a beautiful story and a heartbreaking one all the same. So the story goes, approximately 50 years ago, there's a woman named Susan. And Susan was an academic, she was a student, and she was also a loving wife. Susan's husband at the time, unfortunately, came down with an instance of cancer. This, of course, was very devastating to, the family. It was stressful, what have you. And Susan's husband started to go the conventional avenue of cancer treatment. He went to get the radiation, the chemo, et cetera, et cetera. And Susan got to watch what this did to her husband, like it does to many other people that partake in these activities. She got to watch Susan's will to live just decline, his physical health just decline, his mental health just decline. And this really stirred something up in her to think there has to be a better way. This has to be, there has to be something else out there that we can do that isn't going to have these effects. Now, this was before the internet. this was before you could go to www dot anything to get information. So she did what you would be able to do in those times in order to learn a new thing. She went to libraries. She called up doctors. She called up healing practitioners. She called up, she went to research conventions. She just did everything she could to start learning about an alternative to the cancer, chemotherapy, what have you. And the more she learned about these older, more traditional and ancient holistic pathways to dealing with cancer, the more she got hope, the more she understood just how powerful such approaches could be. Well, she dove into learning these things as quickly and as much as she possibly could. That was her life's work at that point in time. However, Susan's husband, Cancer, at that point in time was rather aggressive. He wasn't necessarily very receptive to the holistic avenue of things and the things that she was pitching to him as she was very new to learning them. And he ended up dying exactly when the doctor said he was going to die. Now, that brings up an interesting question in itself of, are doctors that good? Do they have some magical crystal ball where they can so accurately predict when someone is going to die? Or does them telling someone, hey, you're going to die on this date, and then that person repeating it back to themselves become kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy? We know our mind is a very powerful thing, and it can be very powerful in both directions. It can be our best friend or our worst enemy. But anyway, Susan was, of course, devastated. She just lost her husband. Any loving wife, any loving anyone would be. And she turned this devastation into the beauty of what we see today. She founded the Center for Advancement in Cancer Education with the mission to help other families not have to go through what she and her husband went through. And so she just started educating people in all the ways that she could think of and all of the ways that she learned and continued to learn. She started writing books. She started doing speeches. She started training other people and teaching them personally what she knew. She started working with cancer patients. And she just did everything she could to educate people. Now, this organization is a nonprofit organization and has been so from the start. The true goal is education. And I say education very specifically because there's too many nonprofits out there or whatever entities out there that they focus on research, research, give us money, let's do research. And that's a very unfortunate venture to me because there is already centuries of research and centuries of understanding and comprehension of the body and of cancer on the holistic avenues.
Yeah.
That why are we doing more research? We know what works through the censorship, through the hiding of certain things of health and what have you.
Yeah.
We already know what works. So we focus, and Susan focused on getting the education and the existing research out there. Because I want to be clear, we're not anti-research by any means. We just recognize there's so much already. Why spend our resources doing more and ending up with another piece of paper? Let's get it to the end user. Let's get it to the end patient in need, to the end caretaker in need. And so Susan just spent the rest of her working years getting the education out there to everyone who'd listen and everyone who could benefit from it, whether they were a patient, whether they were a family member or caretaker or caregiver of someone that is a patient, whether they were an existing medical professional in the conventional side of things and was interested in learning the holistic side of things, or if they were already a holistic healer and a holistic doctor and a holistic practitioner, and they wanted to dive deeper into cancer specifically. She worked with people who wanted to themselves kind of become like her and go start educating people on holistic cancer prevention and healing. And she just worked as much as she could and dedicated the rest of her working years to doing that. And that's so beautiful. And eventually, of course, this was 50 years she was doing it approximately, or however many decades. It just became the reality that she wasn't up to the task of traveling around and doing speaking events and such. So 10 years ago, my current business partner took over as CEO, And since then, he's been working to modernize our educational avenues while keeping that core mission at the heart and the root of what we do. So, what we do now is still everything Susan was doing, but in a mode that is relevant for 2024. So, we have a lot of our stuff online, of course, right now. We're mostly an online organization. And this allows us to have impact all around the world. And so one of the primary programs that we run is that anyone that has a cancer concern or a cancer diagnosis can call our in-house counselor for absolutely free. And that counselor is wonderful. She's a 35 plus year licensed naturopathic physician here in the United States, decades of experience in the field and working with patients. And she will offer someone personalized counseling and see their cancer instance through with them. Now, this means if they want to and are comfortable and it is appropriate to go entirely holistic and only work in the holistic side of things, that's wonderful. And she's helped and we've helped people do that very, successfully and they've had great times doing that. There are some people that they're not ready to dive into the holistic side of things entirely. They want to go the conventional avenues, but then, want help to not die from the conventional avenues and suffer the consequences of the chemo and radiation. So we will also help people do that because the same things that will help someone's body heal from cancer itself will also help you maintain your optimal results if you are going to go the conventional route as well. Do I personally advise that in most circumstances? No, but I don't personally advise anyone. I am not anyone's advisor. So we try to be as open as possible to helping as many people as possible. We don't turn people away. If you're not entirely holistic minded, we don't say, get out of here. We really want to help people where they are and where they're ready to be. So that's one of our primary programs. And it's, of course, a wonderful one because people are getting personalized one-on-one counseling. But not everyone wants to make use of our services and our education and our information in that avenue. So we also have free weekly group calls. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday, someone can log on and take part in our weekly group call. And it's like a group video chat, but you don't have to be on video. You can call in or you could just be on audio. And sometimes we have guest speakers on there talking about wonderful things. We just had a doctor from India who's at the forefront of mistletoe therapy. We have other guests that we have to talk about certain topics. Sometimes we have a certain topic that we ourselves in-house talk about. And then sometimes we just have open forum Q&A where whoever has a question, has a concern, has a comment, has something to bring to the table, we just kind of all discuss it as a group, and this way we can all kind of get to the bottom of what's going on or what best resources we can suggest, or it's a really cool kind of open-ended, casual experience that a lot of people get a lot of education from. And it's really cool to have that as a community project as well, because it's important to have community. People, when they get a diagnosis, they feel very alone, more so than they may already feel in their day-to-day life. It's a very scary time. It's a very, nerve-wracking. People's whole lives feel like they've been flipped upside down when they hear the C word. But having people that you could turn to and are there to support you as a support system is so essential. Whether it's people that are going through it themselves, whether it's people that already have, whether it's people that just know what they're talking about and can advise you and help you and share resources to, help you improve your own life. Community is super essential. And that's why it's really a core of what we do as well, being that community for those that need it. Because when someone has cancer, it's a strange thing that happens in the people around them. Suddenly they're hearing this scary thing from their doctor. They're hearing this scary thing from their cousin. Their mom has something to say about it. Their sister, their brother has something to say. Everyone has like all these opinions. Are they right? Are they wrong? Do they know what they're talking about? There's a lot of noise that goes on. And that's why we try to offer ourselves as a community where someone can come on, cut out the nonsense, cut out the emotional ties to it, because when people around you are saying things, sometimes they could be emotionally charged in what they're trying to lead you towards. but we really enjoy offering ourselves as a community. And so that's another wonderful one of our programs. Those calls then get recorded and posted to YouTube amongst hundreds of other videos, all on health and wellness and cancer prevention and cancer healing. There's hours upon hours of videos someone can dive in, and that's all free, of course. We have the different social media avenues. We have 3 Facebook pages that we run, Instagram, any sort of anything that we could do in the modern age, of course, to get information out there, such as all the social media platforms. We try to take advantage of those as much as resources allow. Now, of course, all of these programs that I've mentioned so far are completely free of charge. We're a nonprofit, we're a charity, and we want to do things to help people. Well, things cost money to run, right? We need to get it from somewhere. And so, for the sake of self-sufficiency, for the sake of maintaining authenticity, we try to be self-sufficient and we sell an online educational course as well. And the proceeds from that go to funding the free programs. And so, this online educational course is a very fantastic compilation of decades in the field, Susan's knowledge and research and information that she accrued. And it's her giving her presentation, separated into modules, added and loaded with supplementary materials as appropriate. And we continually add to them and revamp it as we go, just to jam pack as much value as we can. And it's separated into 3 tiers depending on someone's budget or interest level. It's all the same one course, but people can take, level one, people can also take level two, people can also take level three, which is then the whole thing.
Yeah.
Level one, we talk about the fundamentals, what the bare bones, the basics, the very strong foundation of what you need to know to address a cancer concern on the mindset side of things, on the physical detoxification side of things, on the diet side of things, stuff like that. Tier two dives even deeper, gets into more nitty-gritty stuff, rationales for implementing certain protocols, criteria for evaluating certain cases. That one talks about certain emotional correlates because the different cancer types are correlated with certain emotional patterns, and that's a very interesting module. And then tier three will take someone and take them from learning how to address cancer in perhaps themselves or their close loved one, but then teach them how to take that information and now go help other people as a cancer coach. And so if someone's to pass the final exam at the end of that tier three, they receive their certification from us as a holistic cancer coach. And this is such a wonderful program that we run because this is what really allows us to expand our reach far and wide because we have hundreds of coaches all around the world acting in different capacities, having their own different styles, their own different medical and holistic health backgrounds, helping people in different languages, helping people in different communities, helping people in different demographics. And through this coaching program, we've been able to expand our reach far beyond what at our roots, our one founder was able to do herself, even though she, did as much as she could. She only had 24 hours in a day. But now with hundreds of coaches, that's thousands of hours in a day to
Yeah.
get the mission of educating the public out there.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's really this is so powerful. I don't know if people can understand how, powerful and impactful this what you guys what your organization do, you know. You don't get that everywhere. You don't get that most of the times because firstly, the way our society is built, it's built on, based on, gatekeeping mentality. People don't want to share information. People don't want to share how to deal with certain things. So also what stood out for me, especially, about the community side of thing, community is very important. The community that you guys have built is such an important, component to 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 our society because of course we have different cultures. and culture, it's just one part of your life. Culture, it has many reasons. It's culture is made up of what and where you came from and how you do things on your cultural level. But when it comes to community is a wide, it's a mixture of everything. Is like you get opportunity to see different, of what you already seen from your culture. So a community that has value, a community that has empowerment, I think I really definitely, you know advise everybody to get involved with whatever community is, whatever it does, as long as it's offering value and empowering your being. It's something that you should grab and you should join, and it's very powerful because you get to see different people, you get to interact with different minds, you get to interact with different kind of professional and very established people that can help you in any situation that you're facing, that your culture might not even help you. So it's very good thing to be part of the community and just be around different people, and you see different when you're around different people. So it's very important, you know. And you might see something that you've never seen in your life, but other people can see it. So yeah, I like that part of your organization. It's such a very empowering, program. And yeah, I really advise everybody to join in, and just, if you find it valuable to you, of course, we're not forcing you, but if you find it valuable, it's something that you would like to do, definitely you can contact Zachariah. We're gonna leave the details at the end, or someone is gonna pop up on the screen. So yeah, get yourself involved, and expand your reach, expand your knowledge, expand your whole being, and it's gonna help you to grow as well.
Yeah, and it's absolutely true that the learning is never done. There's always something new to learn, and there's always so many things out there. I continue to learn
Yeah,
from our coaches and from our guests, and there's just so many interesting things going on. Whether
yeah,
it's a new herb or a new, body practice or a new thing. There's so many different interesting things going on that I've never even heard of that I continue to learn from some of our coaches because they all have different backgrounds that they bring to the table at the community. We have nurses, we have yoga specialists, we have master herbalists, we have immune therapy researchers, we have people at the cutting edge of all these different technologies and all these different arts and all these different practices. I'm looking through the directory of some of our coaches now. We have a certified raindrop technique specialist, oncology massage practitioner. We have
whoa,
just all these wonderful things that I have yet to explore all of them.
yeah,
It's That's why the community is so essential because there's something for everybody.
yeah,
No matter what someone wants to do or what resonates with them or what the right pathway is for them, we have it somewhere. And if we don't, we can point you to where you can likely
yeah,
find it. Because, like you said, there's so much gatekeeping out there. But we really try to be an open gate between person in need and information, whatever that means. We don't claim to have it all. We don't claim to be the end all, be all. We will tell you everything. Our course contains everything. No, no, no. There is so much wonderful information out there that we couldn't possibly fit it into our one course. We couldn't possibly fit it into our one organization. There's other wonderful organizations out there and other wonderful practitioners out there that are fantastic and genuinely good at helping people. And so all of the time, we will try to learn about who's doing what, not just within our organization, but in the world in general. And we will point people so quickly to the right people that we benefit zero from, other than just having the good feeling of, hey, we just helped another person. So yeah, we really don't try to be gatekeepers. We welcome all collaborations with other organizations, with other doctors, and we really love to learn about other, things out there that we can point people to externally because that's part of our mission, getting people the help they need, whatever that is.
yeah, yeah. Very important. So I want us to get the audience a little bit of an idea on how to kind of like prevent uh any kind of diseases, and eventually also, of course, cancer. You know, so yeah,
Yeah.
how do we do that, and how do we become aware and guard ourselves, to stay safe, to be on the safe side of health.
Yeah. So first it comes from the comprehension that we all have a bit of disease in us at all times. We all, and this is a quote actually from one of our wonderful cancer coaches, Rebecca Copeland. I did a podcast interview with her, and she said this, and it's just stuck with me so strongly. She said, "We all have cancer every day, all of us." Now, what does this mean? Well, what is cancer? Cancer is essentially, to put it quite basically, just having cells in us that are not healthy. It's our own cells that are not healthy. They are askew. Something's going on with them that are not healthy. When they build up and up and up, then they become a quote tumor, and then it's recognized as cancer. That doesn't mean we don't all have cells in us that are unhealthy or cancerous at any given moment. Me, you, everyone listening, whatever. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's part of life. Our body goes through regenerative cycles of having cells die, make new cells, whatever, whatever. So that's just a part of life. Cells in us are going to be unhealthy in certain ways at all times and in certain quantities. When we understand that, we can understand how we can best avoid getting, quote, cancer in the sense that it's built up so much that it's being very problematic and symptomatic.
Yeah.
I encourage anyone to be conscious of all of their actions on a day-to-day basis, all of them, from how you are moving and how you pick up this coffee cup to how you're sitting to how you're laying down to everything you're putting on and in your body at all times. Because we have to address physical poison. We have to address physical unhealthiness. It's no secret that modern food or food-like products are riddled or ridden with garbage that's no short of being accurately described as poison. Sugar, artificial colors, pesticides, preservatives, all of these things and more have no place in the body. They have no place in the human body. The body cannot process them properly, and they electrocute certain areas of the body. They zap the certain areas of the body, and they make it unhealthy. It's really not that complicated. Stop eating garbage. It's
Yeah,
really not that complicated. Stop eating
yeah.
garbage. It's really not. Eat real food. And when I say that, I don't care if you're a plant eater or an animal eater or somewhere in between. Just eat something that's real,
Yeah.
and you'll be better off than the majority of the people around you. I and that's another part, just to go back to Beat Cancer. We have people on all sides of the equation. Our founder, and in her research, she was heavily plant-based and an advocate of plant-based diets in addressing cancer. But we also have coaches in our community that are more animal-based in their dietary recommendations. So we have both. There's something for everybody, and there's research and knowledge and science and valid information on both sides of the equation for different people. There's no one size fits all for diet, to put that out there. So just eat real food, and you're better off than most, and you'll be better off than if you're not.
Yeah, yeah.
Drink real water. What does that mean? And drink clean water. Water, of course, makes up, the majority of our cells, the majority of our body, etc. And yet most people aren't addressing not just the quantity, but the quality of water they're consuming.
Mm.
There's a lot that can be in water and it just look like water. It could just look clear and, people are, some people say water is all the same. I don't understand how you can so naive. But yes, drink clean water. There's different schools of thought on what constitutes the correct water, but filter your water properly. Now, I'm not talking about Brita. I'm not talking about, those cheap fridge built-in filters. Unfortunately, they're really not doing much. Get a proper water filtration system. I'm not going to advocate for any, one brand or anything. I use reverse osmosis. It's a four-stage reverse osmosis filter. It's under my sink and I have it on tap. If you can't install something under your sink, but there's countertop units. They cost a couple $100 to get a decent one. I understand not everyone has the finances, but it goes back to what's your health worth to you. I'm sure you could find the money to acquire clean water some sort of way for most people in the modern world. If not, I feel for you, but I don't know what to tell you. But then there's more parts to water than that because to me, all things should be as natural as possible. And nature filters our water through the natural water cycle, condensation and evaporation, what have you. But then water in the water cycle runs through the rivers and through the streams and comes out of the ground through natural springs. And as it travels over that sediment and over that stone and through the ground, it accumulates minerals. And so this is a point of controversy as well. Some people say, water shouldn't have minerals in it. It should be as pure as possible. Some people say that's very harmful. I don't know what the right answer is. I'll tell you what I do. I like to filter my water to get it as pure and clean as possible. And then I add a solution of organic minerals into it. And then I'm getting minerals that our body needs through that water as well. Is it the right thing? I'm not going to sit here and say 100% yes. Experiment for yourself. See how you feel on perhaps reverse osmosis water, on distilled water, on whatever you want to do. Like there's no one answer. There's no one answer. And that's the important thing to understand because people get caught up in the confusion that exists online. Because there's a lot of people that have their favorite thing for whatever reason, and they say, this is the way. This is the way, everything else is bad. And I respect the conviction,
Yeah.
but for the end consumer who sees, oh, this person says distilled is the best and everything else is bad. This person says distilled is awful and it'll kill you. Like, it's a funny world we live in where there could be such conviction on opposite sides of any discussion. And that's why it comes down to do some research and do some intuition and intuitive thinking and see what makes sense to you. Do your own science. Try something out, see how it makes you feel. Do your own science. There's really no arguing with that. Um,
Yeah.
so that's water. But then there's air, right? Air, what does that mean? Well, there's a lot of stuff in our air. We don't have to talk about, if you live somewhere where certain things are sprayed in the sky and are falling down on you that you're breathing in, but what's just in your home? What's
Chemtrails.
in your home? Look around, even me right now, there's a bunch of artificial stuff here that's off-gassing. There's, just stuff floating around. There's plastic. I have plastic in my house, and then that plastic has fumes, and there's just always something going in the air. Why are we not addressing the air that we're breathing? There's dust, particles, there's just stuff. There's stuff in the air. And especially, hopefully there's as little as possible, right? Because, there's people out there that are spraying perfumes and so-called air fresheners that are literal poison.
Mm.
And lighting candles that are paraffin wax and giving off, you know, petrol fumes. Um, Obviously, don't do those things. I forget about to even mention them sometimes because it should just be so obvious. Stop
Yeah.
adding garbage to your air. Just don't spray things. They're not good. They're very bad. So once that's all addressed, where you stop purposefully adding chemical crap to your air,
Yeah.
get some air filters. That little cylinder you see back there on the shelf, that's an air purifier. It's a very simple machine. It sucks in air, filters it, and blows it back out. And even though I live very clean and my house is very clean, I have one of those in every room and a large one in the living room. And even just the dust that
Yeah.
it catches is insane. After a little while, you look at the filter and you have to clean it like any filter or replace it, and it's just caked with
Well,
nasty dust. It's crazy.
yeah.
And if you don't filter it, you're just going to be breathing it. And I'm not going to say that's going to give you cancer itself, but it's certainly not going to help you.
Yeah.
So why not breathe clean air, right? These are investments that we could do and make in ourself and in our health. The air in my house feels nice. It just feels nice. It's light, it's fresh, it's good. So again, eat clean food, drink clean water, breathe clean air, and these things are all boring because they're so simple, but most people are getting these wrong. Most
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
getting these wrong. Most people are getting everything wrong, unfortunately. Wear clean clothes. Clothing. This is such a huge thing. People are out here walking around in plastic clothing that is leaching plastic fibers into your very porous skin at all times when you're wearing it. Then they're sweating and they're heating up their body and they're, breaking down those fibers even more and opening their pores even more and getting that plastic into them. They're blocking their energetic field, they're blocking their sweat pathways. Stop wearing plastic clothing. What do I mean by plastic clothing? I mean anything that's polyester, rayon, nylon, spandex, viscose, all these things, plastic, artificial, fake. They shouldn't be on your body or in your body. And if they're on your body, they're gonna get in your body.
Yeah.
Wear cotton, wear wool, wear linen, wear denim. Denim is cotton.
Yeah.
Wear real clothing. That's again little things that we could do. These things all need to be addressed because they all add up. They all add up.
Yeah.
And then of course there's body products. This is
That's
such
the
a big
biggest one.
offender.
Yeah.
It's hard to say what's the biggest one, right? But it's certainly a big one because people are just smearing their bodies with poison. That's it. With poison, with chemicals, with colors, with fragrance, with all of these things that have been proven bad,
Yeah.
but they can legally sell to you and you will buy them, so they just keep selling it. People have this concept that they wouldn't sell it if it was bad, they couldn't.
Mm.
And I just stop the naivety. The systems of the world, the companies of the world, they're not your friends. They don't care about you. You need to care about you and understand that people will hurt you. Not everybody, not every company, not every product is bad,
Yeah.
but not every product is just good or neutral. There are so many out there, and the default ones of the world, if you could pick it up on Walmart, it's probably killing you. It matter, Like, and this is, of course, everything's nuanced, but like if you have to live by that, then that helps you kind of avoid the garbage, then that's good. Look at an ingredients list. Look at an ingredients list. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Body products exist that contain only healthy, natural things. And the funny thing is about this, my friend, and also the saddest thing, is that the natural stuff that's out there works 10 times better than the chemical crap. It actually just works because it's made from this earth as our bodies are made from this earth.
Yeah.
Like heals like.
Oh.
Chemicals don't help the body. They might mask whatever problem they're sold to address while causing 10 other problems or making it actually come back that same problem 10 times worse. But they're not addressing root causes and they're really not, they have no place in the body. So this goes to everything from shampoos to lotions to, deodorant. That's a big one. That's a big one, deodorants. The armpits are very porous. They're very, very porous and they absorb a lot, especially because they heat up and then the pores open through, for the sweat and et cetera. And people are just slathering their armpits
Mm.
with poison
Yeah.
and metals and aluminum to fight against nature. Nature says sweat out of your armpits when you need to.
Yeah.
Nature or God or the universe has designed you to sweat.
Yeah.
It has a function. Not only is it temperature regulation, but it carries out toxins.
Yeah.
And now you're going to say, here, armpit, have some aluminum antiperspirant because I don't want you to sweat. There is no hacking the body. You will pay when you go against nature.
Yeah, definitely.
If you block those perspiration pathways, well, not only is that metal now of aluminum, because that's what antiperspirant is, it's aluminum
Yeah, yeah.
going to go right into your body, but now you're not allowing the toxins that were also already in there to get out. Where do you think they go? They stay in your body.
Yeah.
Cancer. It's, yeah. And so, of course, then there's all the other chemicals, beyond the antiperspirant of it, the fragrance, the this, that, the other, that that build up, and so it's a short trip from the armpits to the breast.
Yeah.
So that's why it's most significant for breast cancer specifically.
Mm. Mm.
But it's super essential. People have puffy armpits because they have toxins build up and don't realize it.
Yeah.
Um, it's going to affect everywhere and everything, the lymphatic system, because there's the lymphatic pathways there. But yeah, that's a big offender. But everything. If it exists, my friend, I can tell you how the default avenue is harmful. We could talk about women's health. We could talk about feminine products, whether they're pads or they're tampons or they're any of the above, all these artificial things that the default options off the shelf at Walmart contain hordes of chemicals that women are putting on the most sensitive and, of course, absorbent area of their body.
Yeah.
And then we have all these high rates of, women's cervical cancer, et cetera. When
Yeah.
people, it's ridiculous. And then that's the chemical side of things. What's the alternative? There are organic options out there. Organic cotton pads. I don't advocate for tampons at all because they fight against, again, the body's natural pathways. The
Mm.
body is meant to be purging the blood and uterine lining from the body, and tampons hold that what is supposed to be detoxified out and purged out, they hold it within. And so I fundamentally disagree with tampons, but I'm sure organic options of those even exist. But so there is solutions. People will have these overreactions. Oh, well, what? Do you want me to free bleed everywhere? Do you want women to free bleed? You're against pads? No, you fool. Just do the organic ones. There's the organic disposables. There's the organic reusables, which are said to be super comfortable as well. I've heard, and even more, comfortable and cost effective in the long term because you're not buying disposable things. There's options out there. But then, in the genital region of things, it's not just the feminine products like that, but it's also the underwear. Then it goes back to the the fabric for men and women.
Yeah.
And again, this is all science. This is
Yeah.
all science.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is science out there that has shown fertility drops specifically from polyester underwear in men. Sperm counts
Yeah.
lower in those that wear polyester. It's out there. It's out there. And again, there's just everything that we could address. When we're going back to the women, of course, most women are running around taking artificial hormones every single day of their life, which has no business in the body. That's completely wrecking their hormonal systems and their hormonal cycles. It's all unfortunate. And we
Yeah.
have to consider all of these things, all of these physical poisons in our day-to-day basis. But then there's of course the emotional side of things, which we can get into. But I have been talking for a while, so I would love to
Yeah,
hear
but
anything.
yeah, Yeah, but the emotional side, what I think, we can obviously, come back for that again for another episode on emotional side, because I think it's a very huge, it's a broad topic on its own, you know. So that one definitely we can, um save it for another episode. But yeah, everything that we just put out there now, these are very important. These are things that we don't take into consideration with our lives. We don't take them seriously, and we feel like it's a lot of work. We feel like it's hard work, and people will like, what do you want me to do now? Hey, there's nothing else. You want me to create my own life. You want me to create my own air. You want me to create my own planet and things like that. It's not about that. It's just about you being conscious and being taking responsibility of your life and what you should do for the next person, you know. So, you know, drink clean water. When I started my journey of drinking clean water, and because I'm a full vegetarian, and when I started my journey, I had a lot of critics. I had a lot of resistance with other people, because sometimes also people don't understand. Um, it's it's not, when somebody chooses a different path, it's not to disrespect your path. It's not to disrespect what you believe in or what you think is right for you. It's just that that person has, um obviously, if it's valuable and it's obviously, something that is doable and it's not harming anybody, you know. But if somebody chooses a different path, it's another opportunity for the next person to observe and learn and see how that particular thing that person chooses, how it's gonna come out, what's gonna be the come out, what's gonna be the outcome, because eventually you can learn from that. You'll be like, okay, that was a cool decision you took, that I can also make it for myself, for my life. I can apply it in my life as well. So we just ignore that that whole mentality, and we jump right away with critics and things like, oh, why you want to drink clean water, why then, oh, everybody's gonna die, you're gonna do all that thing, and then the car comes and they crash you, you die, and then what's the reason? I mean, no, it's not about your reason. We have something called epigenetics. That is like, you know what comes, it's not only you. You have to consider about the next generation, what you're going to produce, who is coming after you, how they're going to live. Are you going to be the reason of their misery, or are you going to be the reason of their happiness and, legendary life? You want to be remembered as somebody who destroyed the whole generation, or you do want to be remembered as an legend, So we really have to be considerate, and we have to, be very super conscious about our lives, you know. Um, just to give you guys a summary of everything else, you know, what is most important, what stood out the most for me, of course, it might be different from everybody out there, but it's just about taking the smallest things, considering the smallest things possible. Those are the things that's gonna save you. It's gonna save you life. The bigger it is, the more complex it gets. So when it's small, you gotta take action when it's too small. You don't raise a lion. I mean, you don't address a lion when it's old. You address it when it's too little. Then yeah, otherwise it's gonna eat you. Gonna eat you up. So you gotta address and fight. I mean, you gotta address the lion when it's too little. So let's do the smallest thing. Let's consider the smallest things that we do, that we get ourselves involved into. And as you heard the story of the founder of the organization that the career is part of, that's such a very powerful story. I mean, if you listen to that story three times, your life won't be the same. You see life different, you know. So yeah, so, let's take the smallest steps. Let's clean our water. Let's clean our air. Let's clean our environment. Let's wear proper natural things. Let's eat proper. Even if you eat meat, like I say, I'm a full-time vegetarian, and I drink clean water, and I consider my environment. I'm conscious of what I do. So it has been a very powerful journey. So different. I feel lighter. I feel powerful. I feel energy. I have more energy, and It doesn't mean I'm not saying that if you eat meat and all that stuff, you're not like me. But I'm just saying, even if you eat meat, but you have to balance your life. You have to kind of like know, okay, what I'm doing is it too much or is it too little? So you have to create that balance and live your life in accordance to nature. So yeah. And as we promised you guys, if you were still around right to the end, Zachary has something that's going to share with you guys. He has a program that's going on, and yeah, if you can share it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely, my friend. And thank you for that summary because you really nailed it in the overall message in that it's work to be healthy. It does take work and it takes conscious effort, and it's supposed to. All
Yes.
good things in life take work. And people have this concept of they could just have it easy and they could just have it all and put minimal effort into being, healthy and happy and fulfilled in life. And that's just not how this world works. Sorry. And I'm not
Yes.
here to tell you, I have anything that's going to make your life easy and make your health easy. It's supposed to be work. And we can optimize our existence and learn things and kind of learn mental constructs that make it easier for ourselves to be healthy because we know how things work, but it is still work. And if you never forget that, you'll be in a better position because then you won't be upset when it is difficult or hard or takes some effort to maintain your state of health. There's no magic hack, there's no quick fix, there's no magic pill. It takes conscious existence and work in your day-to-day life to keep yourself healthy, but what else is worth expending effort for? So don't be lazy when it comes to your own health. And
Yes.
so we have a lot of things that we can of course offer the audience. As always, all of our programs at the are free, whether it's the one-on-one counseling, the group calls, etc. The nice little giveaway I like to give out to people is a document that people can read through that my business partner wrote, and that's on the importance of a holistic cancer coach in a cancer patient's journey. And reading that will kind of give someone a comprehension of what a holistic cancer coach is and why you or your loved one or whomever you know that has cancer may want to work with one. Like I said, we've trained hundreds of holistic cancer coaches all around the world, and they help people that have cancer deal with their cancer and beat their cancer and prevent their cancer. We have so many different ways that they work. We have so many different backgrounds and areas of expertise. We really have something for everybody, and we encourage anyone that has cancer, whether you are going holistic on your own, whether you're going conventional, or anything in between, consult with a cancer coach. We have so many of them. They all have their own individual ways that they work, but they are there to be on your team with no emotional tie, with no product that they're necessarily pushing. They just want to see you get better. And they're kind of, because we got to have that team, we got to have that community, we got to have that advocate. We got to have, they will encourage you to continue learning and point you in the right direction, specifically tailored to you, while they're also there to be that helping hand and that guiding hand. So that document, he'll put a link in the description on how to snag that. It's just a free PDF document that anyone can learn from. If you're interested in hiring a coach, you could go to beatcancer.org and click on Find a Coach, or you could come to our weekly calls and kind of see who of our coaches are there and who you might resonate with. If you are interested in taking the course, whether it's to learn for yourself, this is the course that we offer, whether you're just interested in learning or whether you're interested in becoming a coach through getting that certification. Glody will put a link in the description of the video on how to take that course. If you're interested in selling the course, we also have an affiliate program so people can earn an income, and that really helps us keep doing what we're doing because all the proceeds on the organization side of things go back into helping us continue to run the free programs that we do. So we are looking for affiliates that are looking to help us spread the word and spread the message about the program. And if there's any other questions about the organization, my email is always open. That's zfrank@beatcancer.org. That's ZFRANK at beatcancer.org. And I am more than happy to answer all inquiries about the organization and get you the resources and the information and the links that you might need.
Yeah, awesome, bro. Thank you so much. And once again, just to emphasize, the document is free, as I said in the last part. Things that are given for us for free, we don't place value on them. This is don't take this as a free, because what for it to become free now, to be given to you, has to it started some way. It went through some processes, and it has same kind of processes and value that you would set on something that is payable. That's something that you can pay for. So don't hear the free word. That is just, it's being given to you. So there's so much value on that document. So download it, get it, learn from it, and yeah, mindset is very important. Your mindset on things are very important. So I don't want you to label it as uh free. Of course, it's given to you free, but don't label it free in terms of value, because it has so much value on the document. So I encourage you to do that. And uh, Zachariah, do you have any? You can share your platforms with the audience, somewhere that we can follow you on Instagram or LinkedIn or things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have my own podcast and personal brand in the holistic health and wellness space at all. My personal brand is not inherently tied to cancer or beat cancer, but it's in regards to all matters of holistic health and wellness. So I have a podcast where I cover all matters of holistic health and wellness, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, relationships, any sort of health and wellness topic, you'll find an episode there, if not now, then in the future. And so that podcast is called The Health King's Court: Ancient Wisdom, Modern Health. And you could find the links to it on your favorite platform on zackthehealthking.com. That's ZAK, the Health King at or .com. My email for that, if you have emails, if you'd like to be a guest on that podcast, is zackthehealthking at gmail.com. And links to my socials are on that same website. You can find me on most social platforms at Zack the Health King.
Awesome, perfect. Yeah. So there you have it. And if you took note, well done to you. You've been listening. That was a live check. So yeah, and yeah, just to wrap it out, please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and of course you can go to Zachariah's channel as well. He's got a great podcast going on. You're gonna learn a lot, and yeah, uh, this is very important because it helps creators like us to push our message, to get out there and to reach more people. So by you subscribing, giving reviews, and rating the podcast and things like that, it really helps. I mean, it's still the smallest thing that we don't consider, you know. So please do that. And if you're listening on a Spotify or Apple Podcast, you're gonna see there's a rating section where you can rate and leave a review. And yeah, you're here on YouTube. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. You can share with everybody that you can, and yeah, it helps the message to get out there.